The Ninth Legion was not one used in the battles of the Unification Wars. Instead, they were used as a final solution to the foes they were unleashed upon. Because of that, they would be used against the most twisted of enemies, whose memory is best left forgotten to the void of time. Nevertheless, the Legion who would become the Blood Angels was not used to fighting on the main lines. There was no spotlight for them to bask in the glory of their triumphs, no wreath for their deeds, and no acclamation for who they are. To make matters rather worse, they would be known as the Eaters of the Dead, thanks to their proclivity for eating the bodies of their slain enemies. Despite their good looks, this did not raise the trust Imperial authorities had in the Legion. When the Unification Wars ended and the Great Crusade began, the Ninth Legion was sent to Neptune to endure the ghastly war zone. Their style of fighting made them excellent for the nightmares of the Ice Giant. Thus, they came back as victors from this, imposing Vae Victis upon their foes. This wouldn't be the only occurrence in which the Legion would be sent to its doom only to triumph. It would repeat itself terribly often. So much so that Malcador would dub them the Revenant Legion. A name that, while given to them in thanks to their outstanding performances, did little to make them endearing to the other Imperial authorities. As such, they would be sent to fight alongside other undesirable legions, such as the Warhounds or the Fourth Legion. With each victory, the dark rumours of the Ninth Legion grew even more bleaker. They were not the noble angels that brought illumination, but spectres of death. And the Ninth Legionaries took a grim pride in the legends told about them. The Legion wouldn't change its ways of fighting. Their only goal was the complete annihilation of the enemies of mankind. As the Great Crusade grew and the Legion was ever more isolated and split apart, they developed some rather unorthodox practices, forming charnel cults. On Yarant III, the 14th Company would eat the prisoners of war in front of the enemy's walls, causing an abysmal terror in their foes. They would be censured after consuming their wounded allies. Because of their reputation, they would rarely, if at all, receive advanced weaponry, forcing the Ninth Legion to rely on infantry and jump troops, making the ghastly rumours a little bit more real. As the Ninth Legion was rather busy with the Great Crusade, their primarch was scattered on the moon of Baal Secundus, where he was adopted by a tribe of humans known as the People of the Pure Blood, or simply, the Blood, for the world of Baal was a heavily radioactive one, and few managed to live without suffering from some greater or lesser mutation. Sanguinius, like his brothers, grew up at an incredible speed, becoming a full-grown man in 1 year. But that was not the only aspect that made Sanguinius stand out to his tribe. He also grew a set of white feathery wings, making him resemble an angel of old terror. Whether this was a result of the radiation on Baal or simply by the Emperor's design, it still remains a mystery. Sanguinius was also gifted, like his brother Conrad Kurz, with the power of divination. This ability helped the Primarch in dealing with the more numerous mutant hordes on the moon, bringing victory to the Blood. Despite being raised on Baal, Sanguinius still held in him a fury and darkness, similar to those of his legion. But he was a different kind. Outside of battle, he was as noble and as gentle as he looked. This, along with his peculiar abilities and total victory over the mutants, led to the people of Baal to worship him as a god. One day the Emperor found his lost son and came in disguise to meet him. The divination powers of Sanguinius allowed him to foresee his father's coming. He was the first Primarch to ask the Emperor about the consequences of not joining him, yet he did not receive an answer to that. The Emperor knew his son would not refuse because he yearned to bring the salvation he brought to Baal to the whole galaxy. Sanguinius would accept, and some of his best warriors would be inducted into the Ninth Legion. Thus, father and son were reunited at last. Before he could reunite with his legion, Sanguinius would spend 3 years with the Lunar Wolves, learning the ways of the Imperium from his brother Horus. The two brothers would grow close and learn from each other. Sanguinius would also grow to like 2 members of the Mournival, Abaddon and Tarik Torgadon. Sanguinius would meet his legion during the pacification of Tegapenterus. He would learn the names of all the legionaries present that day. Rather than his sons swearing an oath to him, he swore an oath to his sons, an oath that he could live up to, leading his sons and standing with them, no matter if in complete victory or total defeat. He promised them that the legion would no longer be dispersed through the galaxy. His sons were so moved by their father that they immediately pledged themselves to Sanguinius. During the pacification, Sanguinius had the chance to witness his sons in battle for the first time. a sight that terrified the angel. He knew that if his sons continued down this road, then the Legion would die out. Changes had to occur in the Legion's culture, but first they had to pacify the planet. The first kill of both the campaign and Sanguinius was a Carnodon, whose pelt would be fashioned into a clock for Sanguinus. With the pacification over, Sanguinius started to work on the iron that was his legion. Every Blood Angel company would fight alongside the Lunar Wolves so that the noble traits of the wolves would rub off on the angels. Thanks to the stature and nobility of Sanguinius, his sons felt a pride, not a grim one like they did when they heard rumors of their deeds, but a truly noble one. The Blood Angels would change. They would earn the respect of other legions thanks to their newfound culture, a culture of wisdom that now knows how to destroy planets and also how to bring them into the fold peacefully. Imperial authorities even began to become more friendly to the sons of Sanguinius. The Blood Angels turned from savage monsters into dignified warriors that were truly fit for the name of the Emperor's angels. The Blood Angels became renowned through the Imperium as remarkable shock troops, starting a rivalry with the World Eaters on this aspect. When the angels came to a new world, they would bring with them the light of knowledge or the day of revelation. If the planet would not accept compliance, then the Blood Angels would unleash their savage fury upon their enemies, a fury that brought dread to those that refused the kindness of the Imperium. Their newfound nobility made Guilliman add the Blood Angels to the Dauntless Few, a group of legions that he knew if they fought alongside his Ultramarines, there would be no enemy to defeat them. With all that, the Blood Angels still held a darkness and bloodlust. Sanguinius would try to keep this a secret and find a cure for it.